Okay, perfect death here. Back to bringing some Ragnarok online mobile. Been a while. I decided for this video I'll cover Novice Guardian. This was a class that I unlocked about a week before the nerfed Cart Tornado came out, and I ended up getting to test it out a bit before it got nerfed, so I have a bit of experience with it before and after the nerf, running Thanatos Tower Legend, and it was definitely a very powerful job before the nerf. It basically ended up in top 3 DPS easy, and I'm not even on like a full tank thing, so I'll go through some of the different builds that you can vary through. I'm in some weird hybrid tank build because, of course, I am. I've got my weird stuff, but I'm going to start off with the most important part about this, which is the rune box. This really makes the build. So with Novice Guardian, some of these runes are just crazy powerful. So Swift Storm, for example, is your Cart Tornado rune. Gives you extra damage, reduces the wind element resistance, and then gives this third line. If you can get this one, this is double damage on Cart Tornado. It only applies it on things that are close to you. So, for example, if I go stand next to this pouring, if I cast it away from myself, it's going to create an aura around me. I have my settings off, so can't actually see that. Let's see about displaying that one. And boop. So yeah, I've got a tornado that follows me around, and it'll also do damage. So back to the rune. If you get within that area where you stack both your tornadoes, you're doubling your Cart Tornado damage. What the nerf did was they reduced, or they increased the cast delay of the skill, so you couldn't overlap Cart Tornadoes. Before, you could have like 4 or more tornadoes in one spot, so the damage output was just insane. One of the next ones that is really strong, definitely one of the main ones to aim for, because this one is a star rune, and this one is just an S rune, and this one will give you extra damage from overthrust, extra attack from overthrust, and then this third line, which is the really powerful one, this one gives you full defense ignore with bash, card attack, or over when you're using your overthrust. And this applies to Cart Tornado's attack as well. This also applies to the Dark Flame Slash for bash. So this rune is very versatile, as it's good for 2 different builds. The main reason that I ended up going down this was because as you can probably tell, I'm getting 2 gold star runes already. I've also got a silver star rune for the cart damage. I've got the rapid crash rune with another silver star. I've got this return rune, which this one will auto revive you. And so I have a gold star, so a very high roll on this first line. This will reduce the interval from when you can get your resurrection. So if you die, it'll just instantly revive you. It doesn't even take up a resurrection in instances like Thanatos Tower, which counts the amount of resurrections, because this doesn't actually revive you. In a sense, it just full heals you before you die. And then it also gives you this steel body with no negative effects for a little bit. And then the other one that I currently run on this build is Eden Team Blessing. I got 2 good rolls on it as well. Eden Team is a skill that will make you immune to damage from magic. and this gives physical damage reduction on top of that. So this gets rid of the cooldown time so that I can recast it very quickly. And then this other line, which is just physical damage reduction. Third line is kind of neat because it lets you put that buff onto a teammate as well. I do actually have or at least I think I might still have it. No, I think I got rid of it. I used to have one that was the third line, but I didn't really have any good rolls on the others. And then another one of note is the taunt rune. This one is pretty interesting because it lets you reduce it gives you damage reduction and reduces attack from the enemies that you taunt, which makes it a very strong taunt skill. It's better than the swordsman taunt at that point. So after that, I think, yeah, there's only the one other star rune. This one gives you status effect immunity for a little bit, and this rune just makes it a better skill and also allows you to apply it to teammates. And aside from that, you know, if you can get those really good runes, particularly these two here, then you can very easily run a strong Novice Guardian Cart Tornado build. Now, as for gear, I do have a bit of weird gear because some of it's carried over from mech. This greed shirt, my UI is bugged up and I can't click on my stuff. There we go. So the greed shirt I actually got for the Novice Guardian. With mech, you don't actually want the greed shirt. It's good, but not as good as the Saint's Cape. But with this one, I ended up getting this guy because it gives you extra damage with axes. The skeleton bracer is not actually that good for the Cart Tornado build in particular because the double damage you get from skeleton bracer only applies to melee single target physical skills, and Cart Tornado is considered an AoE. This does apply to your regular card attack skill, so some people will build in order to compensate for the skill delay that you can see here, is you have plenty of time to switch to a card attack. And therefore, this could be good, but people usually run the Vinks, I believe it is, which gives you extra attack based on your flee. So they end up going for a flee and a higher agility build. I do run the Pauldron as well for autocast Endure, and again, this is kind of because I'm this hybrid tank build on Thanatos Tower. I'm able to, like, let's say on 4th floor, the main tank gets sent down to Nightmare. I can actually run in and tank the boss for a little bit, and part of that is because I got all my max HP gear. I even have this one with a slow debuff on top of the one that Cart Tornado actually adds. The main weapon for Cart Tornado is definitely the Destroyer's War Axe, as this one gives you card attack damage bonuses and size bonuses. Haven't gotten the best rolls on it, but oh well. This isn't a main build that I've been working on. Abyssal Cry, you don't really need this because for this one you're mainly getting it for the size bonus if you wanted to get the Minorus card bonus here, this guy, but you don't need the 50% defense ignore, so I only carried it around because I haven't really built a better headgear. And of course, this one's probably one of the better face gears just because it gives you extra wind damage. Right here is 15% more wind damage, and then I got a 1.5% physical damage increase. This is the one that you get from running your Valhalla runes. Then I went for Flame Dragon Teeth for extra attack. I have the One-Eye Captain. This one will give you extra move speed when you kill enemies, and that will increase your damage as well because Novice Guardians do more damage with move speed. This one is just carryover from my Earth Drive build, but you know, 4% wind damage, whatever, easy. There's probably some other gears that would work better for this. Let's actually take a look. So offhand, let's start with, I wonder if he is, I think this one's that. Where is Vinx? Can't remember what the synth version looks like for this one, but this is the one that will give you every 10 points of flee gives 1 point of attack. So if you go heavy into flee, this is going to give you the most attack, and then you get some extra bonuses on top of that. Especially if you can get your flee up to 400, then you get like 5% extra attack. And I don't recall. So that's that one. Range damage. Okay, there's the synth one. So this one gives you some extra pen as well, would be a pretty nice bonus on top of that. As for garments, I believe one of the ones that they go for is like undershirt for the extra flee. So you'll get lots of extra flee from this, and then for every 10 flee you gain 1 attack on top of that as well. So this one's definitely a good pick for that. Foot gears, I've seen people running like Momo, which I think you don't really need, you know, like that'd be maybe for the HP there. Definitely Rune Boots is a good option because you will get extra attack and more attack. I've also seen people using shackles because you will get inflict bleed status, and that'll be important when I get onto some of the skill builds that you can run. This is definitely for PvP because you can't really inflict statuses on bosses. And then for accessories, I think the general is if you can get the Shinobi belt, which this is the synth version for the Shinobis, because this will give you loads of melee attack, damage to Formless and Angels. Very good accessory for running Thanatos Tower, since first boss is Angel, and then there's 2 Formless bosses, which is on 2nd floor and 4th floor. Yeah, this is the Shinobi's belt dropped by Hermes, and 5.2 million. It's quite the expensive accessory at that point. What's this one? Yeah, half the price, and this is the one from Katarina. And I think that'll be it for now. Let's go to... So as I mentioned, I'll just cover the stats. As I mentioned, if you're running the Vinx, you're going to want to go a lot more for your agility. Dex is pretty good because you have a hard time getting your hit high with this particular build. So Dex, you'll want to get that high enough to be able to hit stuff. Int, not too important. it's just for your SP. The strength, you might not need to stack this like rounded off at a total of a 10. So I might end up either shaving off 9 strength or trying to figure out how to get 1 more strength on this side. The agility would definitely be good if you were running the Vinks. Since I'm doing the sort of tank hybrid, then I'm running more onto vitality, as I have 500,000 HP on this build. As for the other stats, luck, I don't think there's any real need for luck for this build. It's definitely your secondary stat would either be your agility, your vite, and then of course get enough dex for hitting things. Yeah, and as for the skills, can be where you can get some variety here. This build, or this skill here, this will give you more flee and more move speed, and both of those stats will give you more damage. Taunt, I have that just because it's going to let me do some off-tanking on the side. You could go for Endure as well. I do have the auto-cast Endure, but it's only level 1. If I leveled this up, it would increase the auto-cast Endure. But in general, I found I didn't need it. Blessing. If you're running with a team who has a priest, then you can probably skip on this just because they're going to bless you already. But if you're running solo, then you'd probably want to bring your own, but that would definitely save you 35 or 25 skill points, which you could invest elsewhere. Card attack, definitely grab that for the extra damage. Though card attack, you want to keep in mind this is actually neutral damage forced, so Cart Tornado is forced wind element. Enhanced Cart, this will give you extra attack for cart skills. And then I have Light Shield, which will make me immune to ranged damage. Impose Zito Manus is a buff skill that people often use. Again, if there's a priest in your party, you can probably avoid using this one, but you can personally buff yourself quite a bit. And then over on here, cart boost, more move speed, more attack, and there's also the aceor upgrades, which gives you even more move speed and more attack. Vulture's Eye, this will give you extra range and hit, which is definitely nice, though kind of hard to say if you need it above level 10. You could definitely go higher if you want that extra hit and range, so you can just drop tornadoes. But since I tend to just run up to people, especially bosses, and then just stand next to them to get the double damage, you don't really need this for that. Safety Wall shields you from melee damage, and again, good for being a sort of off tank. Eden's Blessing, this is the one that is magic damage immunity. Also gives extra defense as well. And Inspiration, definitely useful because you get the extra hit and attack and magic attack. That's 100 extra hit, which is huge. And even more attack from your aceor upgrades. Overthrust, this is going to be very strong for you when it gives you that defense ignore, so you definitely want to grab this one. Axe Mastery, gives you some defense ignore, which is not needed, but the attack definitely good. This 10% pen you get just from your aceor runes upgrades, so you don't really need to worry about getting a level 10 to get the 10 of this. So in order to save points, I only went to level 5. Again, I'm a weird hybrid build. This skill is the one that I brought up about the shackles, because burning, freezing, stunned, and bleeding enemies, you will deal 5% per level of extra damage to them. So level 5, this is like 25% extra damage. That's a big damage bonus. So I think I've seen some people talk about using like Lord of Death cards and stuff, things that will inflict status effects, as that deals a ton of extra damage to some other stuff. I guess you could, if you're going PvP, run that one, but you kind of end up in a thing where you have a lot of skills and not a lot of points, so you kind of have to figure out which ones you're going to go for. And then as for the Novice Guardian, well, you have the Cart Tornado skill itself. This one you can upgrade to level 10 with the books. And then the passive skill on top of that, which decreases movement speed by 70% for 3 seconds. That's pretty troll, makes people move very slow. Other skills that can be useful, I guess situationally, if you run into lots of Vite, you can use Life Vow to make yourself even tankier. Hallucination Walk. This will increase your movement speed for a few seconds, but then it decreases it for a few seconds. This can give you like a burst of damage as you use this and then start attacking. Would be good for bursting a boss down really fast. Star's Guardian, this is the one that removes abnormal statuses and makes you immune to abnormal statuses for 8 seconds and reduces element damage. So this is the one that you can get a star rune for to upgrade. And then this one makes it so that you can actually do damage to stuff that hits you when you're under the effect of this. And then you have like Vine Armor, which prevents you from getting gear stripped. Reduces skill damage of it. Mandragora Howling reduces int and SP. You got some passives, like this one will convert 10% of damage that you receive to temporary HP. And then that increases the duration. So it makes it so that even if you get revived normally, you end up immune to damage for 5 seconds. And then some like magic build stuff over here. And then Dark Flame Slash. This is definitely another pretty viable build that you can run, as it will get a passive for extra damage and then charge reduction time. And then you can detect people with HP lower than 30%. Or at least that one's even higher there. Extra Vite as a passive is pretty nice. And then max HP. So, as for what you can, I think that might be it for this. Or maybe I should just poke into what's in the aceor over here. Shush. Let's go down to the aceor. I'll just cover this pretty quick. You got some runes for like doing cart attack damage, but then there's some that you might not need. Like if I'm not running the bash build, I'm not going to grab the bash ones if I need to save my gold medals. And bash damage. So those are some of the ones that I've skipped so far. But you have some runes around here that, I think, where are you? Because you have a lot of these magic runes that you also can skip as well. Yeah, sword mastery runes. There's some like some defense ignore runes that you could probably also skip as well that are hiding around here somewhere. Where is the... Yeah, so there's some card attack damage runes over here. And I think the card attack cast delay, which is pretty useful. There's the defense ignore, which I went to get that one. buffs for Imposito Manus. I'm trying to remember where it is. Leg. Ice wall, ice wall. Ice wall can kind of be neat as it will turn stuff to water element when they freeze. Some hiding skills. There we go. Card attack rapidity. This one is 0.2% extra damage for card attack for every 1% of your move speed. So I think how many? Yeah, and then you have 2% extra move speed and 20 extra attack when you use cart boost. So that combo right there is a very strong combo, as you will get a lot of these, and it makes you move very, very fast. So if I pop that, mount up, I'm not even that fast, but I can do hallucination walk, zoom, and I don't have a matter leash on. If you can get a moonlight card, then that's even more damage output. So the faster your speed, the more damage you do. That's generally how this build goes, though for cooked foods, you might opt to eat the move speed food, but you'd probably just go for the pen and just do more damage. So as for cards, you probably would want to vary your cards based on what you're attacking. You know, Minorous card, or like Hydra card if you're in PvP, or again, there's some status effect stuff that you can do in combo with your skill that makes you do more damage, your status vulnerability skill. So I think I'll cover it, leave it there, but just as a side note, there is a way that you can bypass the delay. So right now, if I were to use this skill, you know, I can't cast it again until it's basically expired. You can bypass that. There's two buffs that you can get, one from Priest and one from the Performer class, so Bard or Dancer. You have Suffragium Ode, which is, since I have a Priest multi-class, I might as well just show that here in the skills button. So Suffragium, this one has a cast time. Well, this particular skill, it changes with an aceor upgrade, which it's not showing because I'm not actually the job, but this will get a an upgrade from the aceor runes that will make it reduce your cast delay quite a bit. So if you can get this Suffragium Ode, which is what it's called, and you combine that with the infinite casting buff that the Bard or Dancer uses, then your cast delay will go back to your normal levels of, you know, being able to cast this 2 times instead of just, you know, like right when this is about half, you'd be able to cast it again, and that would be a lot of DPS, and you could hit super hard. So the class isn't completely nerfed into nothingness. It's just you rely a bit more on teammates to buff you so that you can get back to your old DPS levels. So I'll leave it at that. Take care.